Hello, Krista.
Hi, Matthew.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. We're here to tell you about the Dancing Warrior Yoga 8 Limbs program that we're running. We're going to tell you a little bit about the 8 limbs so you understand how the content of the program is actually going to work. So the first is the yamas at the bottom of the 8 limb system, and the yamas looks at our relationship to the world around us. So the first one that I'm going to suggest is ahimsa, which is the non-violent pathway. So in yoga, you'd all be familiar that by coming onto the yoga mat, we want our yoga practice to be one that is sustaining and nurturing for our body, and that's actually not going to harm our muscles or our joints. So that's it in a kind of gross form, and it also, ahimsa looks at things like vegetarianism and non-harming thoughts, so how not to practice discursive thinking. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the niyamas, the next limb?
Yeah, so the niyamas is how we kind of treat ourselves, and my favorite niyama is Samtosha, which is contentment. So we're really looking at how can we be content in a world where things aren't always pleasant. And so it's finding kind of that ease in a world full of dis-ease, basically.
Yeah.
And so the next limb, asana.
Asana. Most of you will be familiar with asana, so it's, we're strengthening the body vessel, we're strengthening our muscles, our bones, and also kind of getting ready for this deeper work that we're going into, because if we have a strong spine, nice open hips, then eventually we get higher up the limb where we can sit in meditation and be comfortable within the body. Did you want to say anything on asana?
Yeah, and also with asana, or physical movement, the way we move impacts how we feel. So if we can really tap into that whole idea of that connection between our mind, body, and spirit, that's another way that the physical movement of our practice can help us. It can help uplift our mood, and it can help also bring our mood down. So when we learn to harness the power of movement to impact our mind, it can be really powerful.
Very good, very good. Would you like to tell us a little bit about pratyahara?
Pranayama.
Pranayama, fourth limb. I knew that. Pranayama.
Yes, pranayama, so breath control. And I like to think of, there's obviously the breath control where we're controlling our breath. So that's Ujjayi breath usually here at Dancing Warrior. But there's also a lot of other breath control practices that have a profound impact on our nervous system. So we can learn how to create a more calm self and a calmer energy by changing the power of our breath, because there's that really powerful connection between the nervous system and the respiratory system. So when we learn to harness that, it can have a big impact on our mental being and our energetic state.
Very good, well said, well said. The next limb takes us up to pratyahara, and pratyahara is the idea that the senses, often we come to class and the senses are quite aroused, the sight, taste, touch, feel, etc. So we're looking at pratyahara almost like a tortoise withdrawing its limbs inside its shell, is to say that, well, we have the 5 senses, but we can control the 5 senses to learn to turn that dial down so that I can come closer towards my truer self, my truer alignment, my truer bliss. So that's pratyahara, sensory withdrawal. Krista, would you like to tell us a little bit about dharana, the 6th limb?
Dharana, yeah. So at this point, we're beginning to focus our concentration. So there's that whole saying, where focus goes, energy flows, and that's really what we're going to be learning during this limb, is how we can focus our concentration, not only to help us in a meditative, more mind-controlling manner, but also in our lives when we are so scattered. It's hard to get things done and hard to move forward. So how can we focus our energy when we live in a world where we're dealing with so many different things that can cause our focus to wander, such as social media and the television and multiple demands at work? So it's really a powerful tool that can help us.
Very much so, very much so. And then the next limb after that is dhyana. Dhyana is the meat of meditation, bringing us into that quiet, calm, gentle space. So we're ascending up, we've come from the gross body, we're now kind of entering that spiritual body. So meditation, dhyana, is one of looking at ways that we can be aware that we have the fluctuating mind, but to practice a meditation is one we learn to go from those beta waves, which is the busy, dynamic mind, more into those alpha waves of thinking where there's that less thoughts. Is it possible to fully steady your mind and not be inside conscious thought? I don't know, but it is possible to have little glimpses of stillness.
Yeah, and those glimpses of stillness is where life is happening. And that brings us to samadhi, or the final limb, which is bliss, or maybe enlightenment. So at this point, we're really connecting with our true inner selves and discovering who we are without all of the mind chatter, because we've started from this first point of calming our external world through the yamas and niyamas and learning to harness the internal world as we move through the physical body, the energetic body of breath, learning to withdraw from the senses, controlling our focus, creating a meditative state of mind, and then finding our bliss. So that's our program.
That's our program. That's the 8 limbs. It's really delicious stuff. So we hope you enjoyed it as much as we'll enjoy presenting it for you. Thank
We
you.
look forward to meeting you all.
That too.